Hola, friends. Please join us as we explore a concept of opposite side. What do we mean by that? We've already seen it in a couple of different ways. One is that wind up in intention. Remember, suppose we're wanting to go in this direction. I'm first going to go in the other direction, giving that wind up in the other direction, loading up that heavy leg to push into the direction that we want. Example one. Number two, dissociation. We talked about how when we're running, that we bring opposite shoulder to the opposite hip. What are we talking about here? The idea that we can use it in our forward and backward motion and in pivots.
So it might seem a little bit counterintuitive to think about the opposite side than the direction that you're moving. Mostly we think, I'm going to go forward, my chest is going to start in that direction. But when we're dancing, we want to create really powerful movements. And we find that it is far more useful for us as dancers to actually think about, if you will, the spine versus musculature. So instead of thinking of your chest as heading forward in that direction, we find it to be much more impactful if we think of moving our spine or yet even our back in that direction. And of course, what we have going forward, we would also use as going backwards. A lot of times people think, I'm gonna go backwards. So what do? They move their back to initiate that movement backwards. If you'll notice, that created quite a bit of posture problems and off balance.
Pulls a partner off.
All kinds of issues when we think of using the wrong side. However, if we think of that backwards movement as coming from the front of us and moving through the back, then again, we're creating a much more organic and useful movement.
Well described. And we have that same thing in the pivots. Let's say that this is my axis. That's the spindle about which I'm going to turn either forward or backward. Well, we tend to think I've got to move all of this around there. Try this instead. I'm going to think instead of moving this part back while this part goes forward. What that does is it concentrates the energy that we are applying, that turning energy, so it stays tightly over that spindle. If I'm going forward, pulling that back. If I'm going back, I think of the part on the spindle going forward. It gives so much more power and focus and balance.
Balance, yes. I have found this in my own practice to be very helpful. If you find that during rotation, you are losing that balance, flip that mindset and see if that doesn't help you focus over the axis and stay more on that spindle like you were talking about. It's a great tip for people that are working on that.
And there is a way that leaders can facilitate that as well. Again, as we've said, we so often use our hands for everything that we want to accomplish. So if I'm leading a back ocho, there's that tendency to, oh, you go back there. No. I can instead pull my side away to leave my partner, leave Tina on her axis.
When I get lots of energy coming from that hand side, being that it's on the outside, if you will, of my axis, that can oftentimes help throw me off balance.
So do play with all of that. See how it feels. And understandably, it may feel really weird at first. And as you explore it with intention and care, we feel that you will find it produces a much better result. And when we've done all of that, we've practiced that, and we're ready for the next exploration, we'll click that next button, then we'll all join up there. Until then, abrazos.